Christmas. Happy New Year.
Okay, so recording is in progress. We're getting
Okay.
started here. It's a few minutes late. Anything more happening, Pat? I would look in the lower right-hand corner. Robert?
Yeah.
Seamus is in here. I think you might need to get him up there. My 6-year-old grandson, great-grandson is here making noise. Anything else, Pat? Did you click in the lower right-hand corner where it shows your speaker? Maybe that's not turned on. Like right here. Well, I don't know like if you can see us or not. I'm asking you to unmute, but obviously it's not working. Let me see what's happening. I hate it with these local phones. Somebody calls you and it will give the last 7 digits, but it won't put the 360 when you have to call them back. Hello?
Hello, Larry. I can hear the meeting. I haven't been able to figure it out. It gives a red down below where you say it just gives a red circle around the audio. It will not change for me. The thing that was different this time is AI has helping me out. And I think it helped me right out of being able to do this. So I will listen, and if I have a question, I will put it on the chat.
Okay, so on your where your audio is there an up arrow?
Yes,
If you click the up arrow, what choices do you have?
speaker for Realtek high definition audio, and then same as the system speaker, test speaker and microphone, switch to phone audio, and leave computer audio.
Try the different ones to see if it will work. I'm hearing some music.
The microphone. Please make sure your microphone is properly connected.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, as long as you can hear us and see us, I guess that will have to do for now.
So you have the floor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I will take over. Yes, it is.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, we're recording, so I'm going to start sharing the screen and going through my list of items. I didn't have a class in December because that was the day that everybody was moving here, and I wanted to be available. And so putting up with them for a month of everybody, particularly the two cats, you know, they're more well behaved than all the other people. Okay. I am sharing the screen. taking over, closing Zoom. And bringing. Okay, can you all see my list here?
Yep.
Okay, January 2025. Larry, or you can say, hey, you, just as long as you don't use swear words. If you forget my name, it's okay. I am recording, you're on camera, you'll be there forever, so you'll live on for years and years that you don't even think about. So, any email you'd like to send me, send it to ladli5678@live.com. And if you request a printout of this new lesson plan, which I've down to 8 pages now because I've shortened it from last year when I had 3 years worth all in one lesson plan. I will be adding to this one during the year. I'll send you a PDF format of the plan. Any questions I asked? Nobody came up and asked any. Again, special thank you to Marianne for all the learning computers she does. So we'll get down here. 2025, all online classes and info. All these shortcuts will take you to everything we've had in the past that you can go to, the Kitsap Computing Seniors YouTube, my workshop at Zoom, Marianne's classes, all of her classes are all up on YouTube. Shared documents that Marianne has, tutorials on global GCF Global, tech savvy keyboard tricks, and Ask Leo. I've got a few of his added today, but he does a wonderful job of explaining. And the bottom one is Better Business Bureau. You can always go back there and find information about businesses and what's happening. So all these shortcuts, if you get a requested copy of this, you can just click on them and go there. For example, I will click on, let's see, GCF tutorials. And here we go. And they've got all kinds of topics on computers, email, internet, office, various ones, career planning. That's when you guys want to go out and earn more money. Job search, money, workplace skills, technology, smartphones and tablets, buying guides. If you're interested in upgrading to Windows 11 computer and yours won't do it, let me know, because there's I can give you a list of where I think is the best places. But anyway, this is a good place to go to start learning information that I'm not teaching you. And also to tell you, my niece lives in Topanga Canyon, California, and she has to move out of her house, and she has already moved up north because her house is in this big fire area and it could burn down. So I'm sort of keeping an ear open if she sends me an email or something, just to stay up to date. Yep, there's a email from Marianne. I'll get to those in a little bit. Okay, here's things I'm going to start with. And I've got a list here of these items that I'm going to go through. I'm also setting up for February and March classes where I'll be adding stuff. At the bottom of this is future classes and things I would like to cover. And then Microsoft website stuff that you can go to. So that's all that's on here, 8 pages worth right now. So it's fairly small, but as I go along each month, I will add to it and it will get longer and longer. Again, any questions or things you want to discuss, ladli5678@live.com is the email I use for this. So Microsoft really wants you to update to Windows 11 in 2025. I'm going to click on this and take a little look at, see what they have to say. So what they're trying to do is go backwards and take some of the computers in the past they said wouldn't fully take Windows 11 and make it at least for you to try to see if you can upgrade to Windows 11 on them. So calls for a 20-year Windows 11 refresh. Windows 10 is going to go away here in, I think it's 9 months, and all these other things. But if you have 10, there is a thing there that you can press to say, is my computer capable of going to 11? And that is changing. You might want to click on it now when you have Windows 10 to see if now they're saying your computer might be eligible for Windows 11. The problem is, if you do, it might slow down the computer, because no matter how you look at it, Windows 11 is going to take up more than Windows 10 did. And if you don't have enough memory, it's going to start slowing it down. So those are things to look at. But if you've got Windows 10, you go to Windows Update, and I'm going to do that right here. I'm going to go down and I'm going to type update, ATE, and it says check for updates on my computer here. And you notice I have a black background. I don't like white in my face all the time, so I've changed my black background to a dark instead of a light. So I don't have the thing to go up to Windows 11 because I already have Windows 11. But if I check for updates, and I did this earlier, I do it regularly, if not every day, every couple of days, because I like to get these Band-Aids put on my computer, because the Band-Aids keep you protected, not from yourself, but from other things. You can really goof it up yourself. Yes, Becky?
So if you have Windows 10 and it's already kind of slow, because my computer is probably 7 or 8 years old, and you find out you can add Windows 11, and you add Windows 11, of course, like you just said, it'll probably go slower. Can you, or will they help you to remove Windows 10, and then will things even out?
Well, if you can download Windows 11, it will keep your information from 10 and upgrade. But I have a feeling yours is old enough that you might have to get another one.
Okay.
Yeah, once it gets too old, it's a problem, and it's going to go away. My recommendations would be Amazon or Costco. They have the best deals in computers, and if you want some specifics, send me an email, and I'll tell you the ones that I would recommend for you to
Okay.
get in various price ranges and stuff like that.
Well, they had some really good sales on at Christmas, but I didn't want to bite the bullet. My husband's like, "Oh no, I'll get you a new computer." I said, "Oh, I don't need it." But I didn't know that 11 was coming this year. Like we're done with 10 by, you said September?
I think in 8 months, yeah, 10 will go away. If you don't have
Okay.
11, you're going to be there. It means, doesn't mean it won't work. It means they're
Right.
not going to Band-Aid it. They're not going to upgrade it, and you
Right.
become vulnerable for everything in the world.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
Okay.
Now, I think somewhere they're offering some people, if they want to spend a bunch of money, you can stay on 10 and they will give you the upgrades, but you got to pay a considerable amount of money to do that. I don't know what it is exactly, but certain places they're saying, yeah, well, you can stay with 10, but you got to pay our employees to keep you up to date.
It'd be just as easy to get a new computer, probably.
So I checked my updates. I've got the latest updates. And here's something that says update history. It tells me all the different ones I've received. And I'm going to go to one other place. And what I'm going to do, go down here and type about. ABOUT. About this PC. This tells you my computer and the information that's on it. I named my computer Lad Pro 8. It's an 11th generation Core i7, 300 gigabytes. I have installed memory of 16 gigabytes. and there's a device ID, a product ID, and I have it displayed on a big screen instead of the tablet or laptop that I have. If I was using a laptop, I could use a pen and write things on my laptop and it would save them. But since I'm using a separate screen, I can't use the pen. Windows 11 Pro, the version I have right now is 24H2. It was installed on 10/19/2024. It's got a build number, serial number, so on and so forth. So there's the information. If you type about, will tell you about your computer, what you have. And even with this last update, my computer has slowed down just slightly. It's using more memory than it did prior to some of these updates. And I will show you that in a minute. But certainly Costco is a good place to look at for computers. And again, if you want a specific model and brand, I can give you that information. I belong to Consumer Reports, and they evaluate these and tell you what they think are the best ones. And so I can provide that to you. So anyway, if you still have 10, there's a thing when you go to update, you can click on to say, am I capable of upgrading? And you might be able to, but the problem's going to be you'll probably be slow. And I'm going to show you a little bit about mine. I'm going to go down here to the taskbar at the bottom. I'm going to right click and I'm going to left click Task Manager. And it came up behind here. And what Task Manager has shown me under processes is how much memory I'm using, how much disk, because I'm not using my hard drive because I'm not doing anything with it, network, and central processing unit. You'll notice my memory percent that I'm using is 64%. This last update increased that. It was down to something like 48 prior to this last update. So even newer computers eventually don't cover everything you need to cover. But again, by right-clicking down on the taskbar, clicking Task Manager, you can see what your computer is using. And right now, my memory is mainly Microsoft Edge, which I use. Here's Zoom. Here's Google Chrome, because I logged in on Google Chrome to get to this website. And there's other things open, but they're not using nearly as much as some of this. And if you see performance, you can see memory is up here in the 60s. CPU is down here. Wi-Fi I'm using, but it's not super high. And I am, I get my internet and everything up here through, what do you call it? Comcast. But you can get it from different places. Add history or app history. This is the applications that are running. So this is all from that task manager. And it shows you how much time each one's taken, so on and so forth. Here's an important one, startups. You will see that there's a list here called status. And if I click it one way, these shows the disabled at the top. If I click the status again, it will show which programs will start up when I start my computer. That can make a big difference, because the more programs that start up, the less memory you're going to have to do other things. So the items I start up is my Windows Defender, which is the antivirus I use. My phone link, I have my cell phone connected to my computer, so I can use my computer for cell phone stuff. And I'm going to go down here and just click on that right now and show you. Here's my phone link. And I got this thing from my niece earlier that said, just letting you know, Russo, their dog, Pardeep, and I are safe and sound. We are in a hotel up north, way away from the fire, which is going near their house that they own down there. and they took the essential things and put in their car. Of course, I wrote back which cardboard box did you put your house in, but I have to be funny. I have to enjoy it. So phone link is something that I keep connected. And technically, I could use my computer to call somebody on my phone, or I can get information on my phone at whatever's happening. OneDrive, I do use OneDrive to put my stuff on. 1Password is, I purchase it, it's $35 a year, but it maintains all of my passwords for me, and all I got to do is remember one of them. I'm going to go down here at the bottom, and I'm going to click on my 1Password. So this is the program that you buy. You put it on your computer, and then you have a vault, and it remembers the email for everything that you have. I'm going to put a list here for all items. So here's the one for 1Password, and each one of these is a website, and it remembers my password for all of those. So all I got to do is remember the 1Password for 1Password and start it up when I start my computer and put it in, and all the others are available to me. I chose it because I was using some other ones and they got hacked, and I looked around, and 1Password to me seemed to be the safest, and $35 a year was worth it for me. So I feel comfortable with it. And but like I say, you do have to pay for it. But one login and you can get to every one of them. You can click on it and go to wherever you want to go. Microsoft Edge, I use Edge as my browser mainly, but I got another one I'm going to talk to you about shortly here. And here's my sound equipment that I have to enable. And here's my security. So those are the ones that are enabled. Everything else is disabled. I don't want Skype to start when I start my computer. I don't want all these different things to start. So I disable them, and I only enable the ones that I need, which takes up less space on my memory. Questions on that?
Larry, that sounds like a big job. It sounds like you got to know what you're doing to do all that. It sounds good. I'm sure I probably have a whole bunch of stuff that comes on when I turn my computer on. Maybe that's why it takes so long for me to get everything to come up.
That's very possible. If you want to make a list and send it to me, I can probably tell you which ones are necessary and which ones aren't.
And that passcode website that you have, 1Pass, is that what it was called? 1Pass?
1Password.
1Password.
It's not a website, it's a program.
A program. Oh, okay. So is that a one-time?
You pay for it, you download the program, and then it remembers all your passwords for everything else, and all you got to do is remember the password to get into it.
Is that a one-time fee?
It's a yearly fee.
Okay.
Once a year, about 35, I think it's $34, $35. But for me, it was well worth it. So, and I've got many, many websites I want to keep secure, and I can't remember every one of the passwords for them. So to me, that's important.
That's hard. I've got a book full of passwords.
Right. I was up until then, or using this one, I was using LastPass, which was free, and LastPass got hacked, and I felt uncomfortable with them. So I went ahead and switched to this. It cost me a little bit, but it was well worth it.
Okay.
Okay, let me see here. Now that you interrupted me, I will try to figure out where I was. Oh,
so sorry.
That's okay.
You asked.
I know you're old. You got to interrupt us young guys. So anyway, I wanted to mention this, that it's possible you could update 10 to 11, but I would really think twice about that. If you got 10, it's probably time to get a new computer, and I can give you a list of the ones that are recommended. I do recommend Costco or Amazon. They're very good at protecting you. and if you got a problem, fixing it. Okay, so I'm going to go to my next item here on my list. Oh, somebody's crying upstairs. I think it's my 29-year-old grandson. I'm not sure. FBI new warning about AI-driven scams that are after your cash.
Fraud on an alarming scale and are after your cash. I'm Kurt the Cyber Guy. Follow me at cyberguy.com. That's where my newsletter is free. The FBI says criminals are using generative AI in various ways to trick you into giving up your money. Here's how they're doing it. These crooks can create deep fakes, AI-generated images, videos, even voice clones to impersonate you, your loved ones, or even celebrities. Crazy, right? Well, here are some key tips to help you stay safe. The FBI suggests that you reduce the amount of personal content you share online. This includes photos, videos, even audio clips. The less information criminals have on you, the harder it is for them to create convincing deepfakes. Consider setting your social media profiles to private and only accepting friend requests from people that you actually know. This goes a long way to help keeping your personal information away from potential scammers. The number one most effective thing you could do, though, consider investing in a personal data removal service. This is a service that essentially wipes you from the internet, those publicly available databases often used by criminals. Scammers often gather this info from public sources like social media profiles, search sites where you can look up and pay just a few dollars to just like get crazy info on people, and from data breaches, making it easier for them to turn you into a target. The less info scammers can find about you and your information, the safer you're going to be. More security tips like this at cyberguy.com. That's where we got you covered. If you don't have my newsletter already, click the little red button and you'll get it for free.
Okay, I just like mentioning this because you have to be safe. And I on my list here, I got something a little further down that I'm going to play here. And this isn't even one of you oldies that did this. Hold on. Okay, where's... Well,
more for you. The Healthy 7H. Walmart has recalled more than 12,000 cartons of a great value product. ASUSA 1D. Say goodbye to carry-on luggage as you know it? American Airlines changes baggage policy in 2025. Business Insider 1D. Meet. When Charlotte Stens picked up her phone after getting a call from her bank, the Connecticut woman had no idea that fateful choice would wind up with her crying in the parking lot of her Wells Fargo branch for a TikTok video. Unfortunately, like millions of Americans, Stens was targeted by scammers who wanted access to her account, and they succeeded. Don't miss. Commercial real estate has beaten the stock market for 25 years. Here's how savvy investors can become the landlord of Walmart, Whole Foods, or Kroger. Car insurance premiums in America are through the roof and only get... When Charlotte Stens picked up her phone after getting a call from her bank, When Charlotte Stens picked up her phone after getting a call from her bank, the Connecticut woman had no idea that fateful choice would wind up with her crying in the parking lot of her Wells Fargo branch for a TikTok video. Unfortunately, like millions of Americans, Stens was targeted by scammers who wanted access to her account, and they succeeded.
Actually fallen victim to these scams. So many of us have. One viewer asked specifically if we could have a follow-up.
Here, you want to
fall victim just last week, and nobody.
You want to see the youngest one here? Hold on.
I mean, this happened to me. I'm not going to tell you my story. It'll take all day, but we did a look.
Look. Here we go. Look at this guy. He just turned one last month, or she just turned one. This is Eleanor. And I got these lights on the ceiling up there that she loves to look at. But my great granddaughter,
So cute.
yeah, she is. She weighs a ton.
Bit of research, and of course, we wanted to bring in the professional here, 9 News consumer investigator Steve Stager, to share some helpful tips for anybody who can be going through this. And as we learned, it's a lot of us, Steve. It's
Heck, yeah, I mean, I get emails about this from people every day, and some of the dollar amounts are staggering. I mean, they're all over the place. People who maybe have the scam where your computer gets locked up. I've heard from, and it's not just a demographic thing. I mean, I've heard from people, young people, old, who have been scammed and been taken by someone somewhere. Just because so much of our data is already out
Right.
there that people can find information on you and likely gain access to your accounts.
Okay, so we have some tips we want to go through first.
Okay.
We get some professional advice here. The first thing they say is stop any contact with the scammer. That can mean just hanging up the phone, stop email communication, and of course, don't make any more payments to them once you realize what's going on here. Second, secure your finances. That's a biggie. Report any compromised bank accounts or credit cards to your banks. You may also want to consider placing a freeze on your report.
And then they also recommend that next, check your computer. If your computer was accessed or otherwise affected by a scam, check to make sure that your antivirus is up to date and running, and that your system is free of malware and key logging software. You also definitely want to change your account passwords, update your bank, credit card, social media, and email account passwords to try to limit the further unauthorized access.
Now, change your account passwords. What's nice about 1Password is it will give you a new password, and it's about this long, and there's no way in the world somebody's going to hack it because it's like 18 to 25 characters long with everything in it. And so when you go to a website, you change for a new password, that does a wonderful job by selecting it. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you. Come on.
So you make sure you report that scam so other people are not also falling victim to it. You can report them to local law enforcement, the FCC, or the Better Business Bureau.
I'm gonna
Which
bump.
you add.
I'm gonna bump that last one
Yeah.
up to the top. You want to let people know as quickly as possible. We did a story on a romance scam earlier this year, where we talked to a police officer. You know, in a romance scam, you've kind of been compromised emotionally, right? And it might be hard to admit that to people. But the police officer we talked to with the Arvada Police Department said, there's work that can be done to seize accounts when money is moved, even when it's in crypto. And you can find investigators inside police departments. There aren't many of them. They're hoping to train more of them to be able to do this, who can track crypto and movements of crypto and can actually use subpoena power to seize money and try to stop it from going too far. They can get a hold of your money before it goes further than it actually is. Because a lot of people think once you pay money in crypto that it's gone, and oftentimes it is. But police do have the ability to seize funds and potentially get that back for you. That's why it's really important to report something right away.
And you mentioned kind of the shame of it all, but there should be no shame here. We've
No.
all been victims to these things, and I think even older people sometimes like, oh no,
I don't want to let that go too long because it's quite long, but understand the importance of keeping your information safe, not giving it out. All the email I get, you really have to be careful. Let me open my email program here. And I have something called junk down here. And this is just a few. Get a Medicare kit, take the survey, do this and do that. Well, it went to my junk file because I don't trust it. healthymy.worlds.com. Here's another one, which, did you receive my email about a job? Xfinity, my mail user. So this is somebody trying to say they're Comcast, which they're not because it's from Yahoo up here. And these come in quite often, mainly to my main email, which is ladlad@comcast.net. Well, here's one in a foreign language that I get every once in a while. I couldn't tell you what it means. Your account has been locked for security reasons at Amazon. Yeah, right. And it's from ugandadialdolog.com. Colin Williams, dear sir or madam, I have a client who wants to invest in your country. For more details, please contact. Yeah, right. Oh, here's one. Yeah, try to read that. I can't read it myself, but it's from SS98 at audiosomething.com. Account locked. Here's another one, supposedly from Amazon. It says my Amazon account is locked. So those are junk emails. Sometimes they don't go to junk automatically. They go to my inbox and I have to move them down there. But you certainly don't want to apply to an email. And if there's a phone number or a click here, don't do it unless you are absolutely certain that it's safe. You'd be surprised how many people get an email and click right here and they do it and they're going to be scammed. So be careful. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Identity theft. This is from my Puget Sound Consumer's Checkbook. Now, I think I pay like $12 for 2 years for Puget Sound Community or Consumer's Checkbook. It's a part of Consumer Report, but it's only for the Puget Sound area. And I'm going to click on this one.
Some criminals rob banks, others break into your house. Identity thieves steal your personal information and then use it to commit all sorts of crimes. They pretend to be you to get a credit card, apply for a loan, or drain your bank account. The losses are staggering. By one estimate, identity theft victims in the U.S. lost $56 billion in 2020. The good news, there are ways to protect yourself. I'm Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man, a contributing editor at checkbook.org.
Welcome to Consumerpedia at checkbook.org. We're the nonprofit that helps consumers select services, avoid trouble, and save money. Because we don't accept any advertising or take money from any business we recommend, you can rely on checkbook.org to be completely independent and objective. Now, here's the host of Consumerpedia, America's consumer expert, the Consumer Man, Herb Weisbaum.
Identity theft is a serious and growing problem, and we're all at risk. Last year, the Federal Trade Commission received more reports about identity theft than any other type of complaint. In this episode of Consumerpedia, we'll explain the various types of identity fraud, how the crooks get your information and use it, plus ways to fight back. Our guest is Eva Velasquez, a nationally respected expert on ID theft.
Okay, I can't play that out because it's going to take about 40 minutes to play the whole thing. But you got the idea. Be careful. That's all I'm trying to get past to you guys is to be careful and not get involved in these things. Let me go here. Let's see. These are the different services that they evaluate in the local area, meaning Puget Sound area. They have auto services, healthcare providers. I've changed my dentist and my doctor because of the recommended ones that they recommended on this. And again, this is not a paid site. They don't get paid for doing this. They do the separate evaluation and give you the best information. Home care, electricians, security, painters, financial, pet care, personal services, cell phone services, dry cleaners. Let me choose one of these. What's a good one? How about stores? Carpet, computer stores, appliance stores, grocery stores. Let's do grocery stores. So here's a whole thing. They give you an overview of all these different things, and then they're going to rate the grocery stores in this area, which includes Seattle. But here you'll see Albertsons is 1% lower than average. Amazon is 8% lower, Amazon Fresh. We don't have that. Ballard's Market is 15% higher. Central Market is higher. Grocery Outlet, which we have, and Fred Meyer. Fred Meyer's 14% lower. Grocery Outlet's 27% lower. Target is 8%. Walmart is 22%. And Winco is 25%. So they're rating these things in our area and telling you by the input of how much you're saving in each one. And so you go to one of these, let's say Thriftway, you're going to pay 75% more for what you buy there. How about PCC Community Market? I think that's in, is that in Paulsbo? Anyway, 30% higher. But I get this. Again, I pay for, I think it's like $12 for a year or less. I don't know, somewhere in that. But it's from Consumer Report, but it's only for our local area, and they rate all the different things in the area. And I go through here and I look to see if I'm going to buy something, where do I go? Which furniture store does the best job? Here's an overview. Here's ratings. Allen's Furniture and Enumclaw. Let's see. What I do is I change it to 10 miles because I don't want Seattle. Amazon has ratings. Arnold's Furniture, it's got a check mark. Macy's has got a check mark. But anyway, I do this because I want to get the best stuff and know that it's safe. And I'm just telling you that that's how I do it. And you're right, I do pay for some of the stuff, but to me, it's well worth it. If you're going to buy something like that, you send me what you're looking at buying, and I will send you the list here of which ones are the best. Not a problem. I can do that very quickly. Okay, so that's called Puget Sound Consumer's Checkbook. And if I look in my email, under home, I have a thing called checkbook, and I get one of these a couple times a month, and it lays out individual things like the one I just got is how to prevent identity theft and fraud, which I showed you. Start talking about nutritional supplements, decluttering strategies. Here's another one, 65 things you should stop spending your money on. But this is local stuff. This is Puget Sound area. And so I feel it's important to know and do. I'm not trying to twist your arm to spend the money. Okay. Any questions up till I continue on here? It's
Me
nice
again.
to hear from you, Pat.
I have a question.
Yes.
You got that information of Kitsap County area through the Consumer Reports website that you're a member of?
No, the Puget Sound area is secondary. It's not part of it is part of Consumer Reports, but it's a special one just for Puget Sound area. And it's called Puget Sound Checkbook.
Okay.
It's separate from Consumer Reports because Consumer Reports doesn't cover local stuff, where this off slide of Consumer Reports does.
You don't have to have Consumer Reports to get the Kitsap County.
No,
Okay.
you do not.
Great.
So go search for it and it will give you information. Okay, here's 11 PC maintenance tips, intro, so on and so forth. So let's take a look. Keep your computer clean and dust free. Well, this is talking about a desktop. I don't know how many people still have desktops. Most people are laptop now, but I used to have a class at the community center where you bring in your laptop and we would blow out all the dust. I mean your desktop, and less people now have desktops, so I stopped the class. But if you do have one, it's important to know, don't set it on the floor where there's dust, set it up somewhere out of the way, stuff like that. Create regular backups. Yes, backups are important. Create backups. Backups will save you. It will back up all the information you have. So if your hard drive dies, you can get a new computer and move that information back in without losing anything. Go through your files and programs regularly. Oftentimes you'll have installed programs that you don't use. For example, here, I'm going to right click on the start menu and it says installed apps. There's different ways to get to this. I can go down here and search installed apps. Click on it. And this will tell me everything that is on my computer. Now I got it sorted by the date installed. So as things get updated, it moves to the top. But I will change it to A through Z. So these are all the applications. Notice 1Password's at the top because it starts with the number 1 alphabetically. And it lists every program I have. And there's a lot of them. And if you go down here and you say, oh, I don't use this anymore, you can click on it right here and say uninstall. That will get a little bit of clutter off your computer, if that's what you desire to do. There's a lot of things I don't use, but most of them I've gotten rid of. I love Sudoku. I'm a Sudoku person. Quicken, I do my Quicken stuff all the time, keep all my financial stuff up to date. But anyway, those are apps. You can go through them. And if you see one that, oh, I got this 6 years ago and I used to play it and I don't play it anymore or whatever, you can get rid of it. Next is reboot your system regularly. A lot of people don't turn off their computer. I turn mine off every night. I actually turn it off every time I leave the house and restart it. But a lot of people will just let it go to sleep and not turn it off. But when you get updates, it's important to turn it off. So it says here, one of the oldest jokes in IT world is asking, have you tried turning it off and on again when anyone presents a computer issue? That is important. So when you get an issue with your computer, turn it off and turn it back on. A lot of times that will fix your problem. Even a slow computer can be fixed to problems like that. So regularly turn your computer totally off. Just don't let it go to sleep and let it sit there overnight or months or years at a time. Personalize your computer startup process. I mentioned that here. Right click on the taskbar, go to Task Manager, click Startup Programs, and decides which one of these I need to start as soon as I start my computer. Now, when it's disabled here, it doesn't mean that it won't start when you click on it and want to use it. It just means it doesn't start every time you start up your computer, taking up space. So there's certain ones that are important, your security, stuff like that. If you have a question on a specific one, I'll be glad to answer it for you. But there's a lot of them that you just don't want to start because it takes up too much space of your random access information. Check for system and program updates. Well, I showed you how to do that. Go down here, click update, check for updates, and click the check. I'm not going to do it at the moment, but it is important to make sure you're up to date because it's like band-aiding all those things out there that can be bad, and Microsoft tries to band-aid them. Ensure your firewall is up and occasionally run an antivirus scan. Well, my antivirus program, let me look at something here. My antivirus program is the Microsoft one called Windows Security for Windows 11. And if I click on it, you'll see a bunch of green arrows. And this right here is called the firewall and network protection. If you take a look at it, it says, yes, my firewall is connected, it is working, and there's no problems. Account protection is on. Device performance health, no action needed. Family options, I don't use that a lot. Protection history, account protection. So I use this, I like it. Now, I will tell you that I do pay for things, and I'm a big user of Office stuff. So I have also installed Office 365. And that's where I get Word, Excel, a bunch of different programs that are the best ones that Microsoft keeps up to date. It can be expensive. It costs $100 a year, but you can share it with 5 other people. So just because you pay $100 a year, if you got friends that want to share it with you, you can each pay $20 and you can share it with them. I share it with my nephew, I share it with my wife, and a few various people. So just for your information, I will tell you what's available there in a minute. Clear the cache in your computer and browser. Well, I use CCleaner to do that. So it's a free program called CCleaner. Years ago, it was called Crap Cleaner, and they changed it. They didn't like the word crap, I guess. But I run this every night at night, and I clean out these things that get installed while I'm using my computer during the day, like cookies and stuff like that. Monitor your system performance. Again, I showed you how to do that. Right-click down here on Task Manager. Go to Processes or Performance, either one, and it will show you. Again, I'm using quite a bit of memory, but it still runs fast. And each time Microsoft does updates, oftentimes that will edge its way up. So eventually, my computers, even though it's a Microsoft computer, is going to run out of memory because it's installed to the maximum 16 gigabyte. But at this point, it's not slowed down. My CPU has plenty of processing that it doesn't overdo. And I got a lot of things running, and my CPU, central processing unit, is only 18%. So if you're slow, if your computer's slow, right-click, open Task Manager, and check these different processes, see which one is really loading down your computer. You can click on CPU. You can click on memory. And obviously Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, I got all those running for this class, so. Okay, next. Keep your system cool. Well, they're mainly here showing a desktop, but laptops has to be kept cool also. You don't want to go take your laptop and put it on a blanket or something, because certain laptops get their air through the bottom. And if you put it on the wrong thing, it could eliminate the amount of air and it could get too hot and overload. So it's important to remember that. So it says laptop specifics, laptop backpack that safe to protect your devices, so on. Leave your laptop plugged in all the time is not a good thing. If you leave it plugged in all the time, what happens is the battery in your laptop wears out and doesn't want to be used anymore because it's not being used. So at least every couple of days, you should unplug the power to your laptop and let it go on work on its battery. and let it exercise through. Plug it back in later on when it gets low and build it back up. But if you don't use the battery on your laptop, and a lot of people don't, it's going to go bad much quicker.
I think mine already did.
Ah,
I leave mine plugged in all the time. And then when I unplugged it to use it, it didn't even stay on for half an hour.
that's exactly right. My program, in a way, is unique because this Microsoft will keep it running between 80 and 20% automatically. It will never let it exceed that, even when it's plugged in. So it's actually using my battery to an extent, but I do unplug it and use it. I carry it around, stuff like that. So laptops are important. That's something to keep in mind.
I can't reverse the process now that is it too late?
Once it's gone, it's gone.
Okay.
You would have to buy a new battery, and that is possible if you want to keep your computer. Normally, you turn it over if it's a laptop, and there's a thing where you can take the battery out and put a new one in. But you'd have to go online and get one. Well, I got another half hour. I'm doing good here. Make Windows 11 more user-friendly? Well, let's see. There's times where you can disable certain ads on your computer. And there's a bunch here. I don't want to spend a lot of time going through them, but if you ask for this and click on this, you can go through and stop some of the ads that pop up on your computer. And like you say, it's quite long here. I don't want to spend a lot of time, but you can stop some of the pop-ups on your computer. Of course, you'd have to send me an email, and I would have to send you this, and you'd have to click on it. Okay, DuckDuckGo. Anybody heard of DuckDuckGo?
Yes.
Good. I use DuckDuckGo. The reason I use DuckDuckGo is you'll notice if you're on almost any browser like Edge or Chrome, when you research something, all of a sudden you start getting ads on that something that you researched. Well, DuckDuckGo will stop that. It's more than just a search engine. Click here and start talking. Well, the problem is, I don't know. Come on. Read aloud.
More for you. The Healthy 8H.
Ah.
Walmart has recalled more than 12,000 cartons. If you're online, you're probably being tracked. Whether you're shopping, subscribing, or scrolling on social media, companies are generally looking to scoop up your data so they can get more from advertisers. DuckDuckGo wants to help you avoid that, offering a suite of privacy-focused tools and features, including its privacy-focused web browser, email protection, and anonymous access to AI chatbots. There are other private browsers, such as Brave and the Mullvad browser, that block people from monitoring your online activity. But DuckDuckGo sees itself as a direct competitor to Google Search, complete with a mobile app and extensions for Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and other browsers, as well as for Windows and Mac browsers in public beta. And the company has significantly expanded its offerings over the past few years, making it a more robust service for protecting your privacy.
Anyway, again, this is long. I don't want to bore you with going through all of this, but I have DuckDuckGo, and I do use it a lot of the time. For example, down here on my taskbar, you'll see a thing with a duck. If I click on that, it will bring up my DuckDuckGo browser. And I can go to all the websites I go to in the other Edge here on DuckDuckGo. Well, here's Facebook talking about various things. All you old people probably remember Leave It to Beaver and all those ones. Happiness is simple, Christmas gifts. But I also have my dashboard. What this is I have cameras and alarms around my house. And if I click here, I have a camera pointing out to my front yard where I can see everything that's happening in my front yard. And this is all installable on your own. You don't have to have somebody else do it if you've got a little bit of technical talent. I have a camera upstairs that looks out and sees a bigger area in my neighbor's house and up and down the street. I have one in my backyard that we have a lot of deer that come through our backyard, and we can watch them go through our backyard and do things. We don't use our backyard very much. And here's the one doorbell on my front door. I can look right out and see what's on my porch. So anyway, I installed that myself, but it's nice to be able to see what's going on around your house. If there's motion, it can tell you, and stuff like that. So this is DuckDuckGo. It looks just like almost any other browser, slightly different, but pretty much the same. I've got all these websites I can go to. I can go to a TV list. This is everything I have on my other browsers. So, but again, when you search something on here, it doesn't go out to everybody, and all of a sudden you get all these things saying, oh, you're interested in swimsuits, or you're interested in guns or something like that. So it's just a more secure browser. You might want to think about. There's nothing major. It's very similar to all the other browsers, but it's called DuckDuckGo. You can download it for free. Doesn't cost money.
Question.
Yes.
So if I have the DuckDuckGo, should I get rid of my other browsers that are like Chrome and Microsoft Edge?
No, you can keep them. You can use all of them. Have them all. You could get rid of them if you want to, except for Edge because it's part of the operating system. But you can get rid of the others, but you just take all your shortcuts that you have on the others, pull them into DuckDuckGo and open DuckDuckGo instead of the others. You don't have to remove them.
Okay.
Good question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. So a couple other things happening here. Here's something I saved.
More tips to protect yourself from AI scams. Hi, everyone. Leo Notenboom here for AskLeo.com. As I record this, we are approaching the holiday season, which, as it turns out, is scam season. Now, there's an argument that says basically all seasons are scam seasons, but apparently scammers like to take advantage of our busy lifestyle and attack us during times like holiday seasons. Now, I've been doing a lot of reading and listening to essays and podcasts discussing scams that are tricking people out of, honestly, really scary amounts of money. With AI entering the realm, it's only getting worse. The risk and the danger is higher than ever. The best defense? Well, besides a healthy dose of skepticism, it's education, knowing what to look for. In this video, I'm going to give you a list of things that you can and should be on the lookout for pretty much at all times, as provided by the FBI. So criminals are using AI to make scams more believable and reach more victims. This is incredibly important to be aware of. Even if things look legit, they may not be. For example, fake text. AI is used to create fake messages for phishing emails, romance scams, investment fraud, and more. It's used to make fake websites and social media profiles look real. Even if the usual red flags of poor spelling and grammar are missing, that doesn't imply that the text you're reading is legitimate. Fake image. AI can create realistic photos for social media, fake IDs, or other scams. Scammers use fake photos to get donations, employ blackmail, or legitimize other types of scams. Seeing is believing is no longer true. Fake voices. Using a technology called audio cloning, scammers are using AI to mimic voices to sound like loved ones or famous people to trick you into sending or spending money. This is often combined with urgent telephone calls using your loved one's voice to ask for help or access to your accounts. I'll have some more on urgency in a minute. Fake videos. AI is being used to create videos of fake authority figures or proof that someone is real. These are then used for fake investment or cryptocurrency scams or job offers. And as we've seen, AI is just getting better and better. So if anything can be fake, what can we do? Here are some simple steps to take and things to look for. Create a family password to confirm you're talking to who you think you are. Look closely at photos and videos for details that look off, like odd hands or fake-looking faces. It's not always practical, but if you can, limit sharing your own voice or photos online so that they can't be copied. Hang up and verify incoming calls by contacting the company or person directly yourself. Don't answer caller IDs you don't recognize. And in fact, don't trust caller ID. It can be easily spoofed. Don't send money or share personal information with people you've only met online. Never ever trust urgency. The more desperate they sound and the more insistent the timeline, the more suspicious you should be. Honestly, it's the #1 sign of a potential scam. And #2, never make payments using gift cards, cryptocurrency, gold bars, yeah, it's a thing, or other methods that cannot be challenged and reversed. In other words, familiarize.
By the way, you can now buy gold bars from Costco if you want to go save gold.
Yourself with the signs and be skeptical. Now, even the best prepared of us can fall. It may happen to you someday. Don't be ashamed. This stuff is happening, and it's happening to a lot of people. And as you can see from the list I've just given you, it can be easy to let your guard down. Instead of being embarrassed and silent, in the United States at least, report it to the FBI's IC3, Internet Crime Complaint Center, at ic3.gov. They're overwhelmed, so as you might imagine, so you may not get a response, but your details still help the FBI track down scammers. In other countries, look for a similar authority to report to. Consider sharing your story with friends. It could be the wake-up call they need to understand that they could be scammed too. Bottom line, familiarize yourself with the signs and the techniques above. Be skeptical, even of things you've never had to be suspicious about before, and report it if it happens to you. I hope you have a safe holiday season, and like I said.
So anyway, it's important. On our phone here, I have a home phone plus a cell phone, mainly use a home phone. If I don't recognize who's calling, I will not pick it up. I will make sure they leave a message. And if they don't leave a message, forget it. Carol has a thing on her phone when you call her to say, if you want cash or something like that, hang up. I don't remember what it says, Carol, but you do a good job. But anyway, I also have on my home phone something called Nomorobo, Nomorobo, which is free. You can go to the website, you can sign up for it. It won't stop all scammers, but they have a whole list of things that it will stop, and you'll hear one ring and it will stop. My problem lately is I've been getting calls from every city in Washington State. Every day I get 2 or 3 calls from Leavenworth or Paulsbo or someplace like that, Washington, and they're not being stopped by the Nomorobo because I guess they're unique. But anyway, you have to be careful. Let me see here. Again, I'm going to play this one for a little bit, but we're getting close here.
Online and phone scams, what you need to watch for, and how to stay safe. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for AskLeo.com. It's no secret that scams are on the rise, both online and off. We hear about them every day. And with the rise of AI, it's becoming even more and more difficult to see through can't be true, or is at least extremely unlikely. Personal information. Asking for personal information is another hallmark of many scams. A legitimate company, for example, will never, and I mean never, ask you for your social security number, your password.
Well, anyway, that's pretty much the same as the last one I did. So I'm not going to run through it again. There's a couple other things I want to try to get covered before we continue on. The website at Microsoft, Microsoft.com. If you go to Microsoft.com, this is what you'll see. Okay, Microsoft.com, the US, and you have all these different things. Of course, they try to sell things. I did purchase Microsoft 365 because, like I said, it costs $99 a year, and you can share it with 5 other people. And here's what it includes. Come on, tell me. Word, Excel, Outlook, Windows Defender, which is slightly different than the Windows Security, OneDrive, more space, but there's a lot of things, and particularly Outlook. I use the Outlook because all my email comes in. I have 8 different email addresses that are all tied here, and I get information to each one and I can look at it. But to me, it's worth it. And when I share it with other people, it feels good. So not that I'm trying to sell it to you at all, but just be aware that it isn't something that can be interesting. Well, let me go back to this website again. Now, what I mainly want you to do is take a look here, and you can see different things they're trying to sell you. I'm going to scroll down here. And I want to go to Microsoft support. Right here, support. Since I got my window smaller, it didn't show up, so I had to go look for it. When you go to support, this says, oh, hello, Larry, welcome to Microsoft. And it starts talking about the different things. Windows, OneDrive, you can go look at all those, Edge if you want. But the next thing I have in my list is security, help, and learning. So if I go down here a little further. Come on, don't be a pain. Ah, right here, security. I click on security. It says Microsoft Security Help in Learning. And it's got, what is cybersecurity? Protect your whole family with Microsoft Defender. 3 easy ways, steps to improve your cybersecurity. Securing your device. Be safe with smart devices. Be safe over wireless connections. So on and so forth. But I have here accessibility. That's another one that's important. Let's see, where do I find accessibility? It's interesting. I go through all this and then I go to look for it and I can't find it.
Speculation without a shred of proof. Your Honor, if you bear with me, I do have proof. All right. Now, this is today's paper. See here?
All right, where are you? Accessibility. Well, I'll go to it on my own instead of using this. So if I go to open my Windows settings and I have a shortcut here on my desktop, right down there, I can go to my taskbar and click on it. It opens up and accessibility is right here. And in accessibility, you can change your text size. You can change the visual effects that it has, mouse pointer, cursor, text cursor, which mine's bigger. I like a bigger one. Magnifying glass, color filters. It's got hearing devices. Maybe Pat needs to get one of those. Interaction, speech, keyboard, mouse. It talks about voice speaking, and you can use this to make a program and speak into it and save it. But there's all kinds of things here under accessibility for people that want to make their computer more specifically usable for them. But this whole thing under settings, I go to home. When I go to settings, like I say, let me click down here again. I have a shortcut gear down here in my desktop. At the bottom, I click settings and it comes up right here. And to the right is check for Windows Update. Well, I did it an hour ago. And it gives me the name of my computer. It gives me my Wi-Fi network that I'm connected to. How much online services, manage cloud storage. I can personalize my desktop background, and I use Lightning because I like the images. I like the images here because it's got a darker background. So that's why I chose Lightning. There's various ones you can choose here, different than the one that you originally start with. Color mode, I'm using the dark. If I go to light, see, it's light. I don't care for light. I go to dark, and I prefer it that way for my eyes, even especially at night when I'm using my computer when it's dark out. I have Bluetooth devices connected. I have my phone connected, which is a S21 Ultra Samsung. And again, I showed you that earlier. This is my phone link here, and I've got different people. My dog next door, I bring him over because his mom works at the hospital for 12-hour shifts, and I bring him over and take care of him. And he fell in love with me, and I fell in love with him. And I think in June, he jumped up on me while I was teaching this class. I don't know if you remember that, but I have a separate keyboard here that's not connected. Here's Office 365 Family. Here's the system. change display, sound, notifications, focus, all these different, there's so much here, it's hard to really discuss each one. I just wanted to show you it's all under settings. All you gotta do is type in settings and go there. Bluetooth devices, network connection, personalize, background, colors, so on. This is all the applications. You can click on apps, see which apps are installed. You can change the time. Sometimes your time gets out of date and your date gets out, and you can change it back to where it should be because your computer won't update if the time and date is wrong. Gaming, I don't do much gaming. Accessibility, I mentioned that. Text size, audio, interaction, privacy and security, Windows security, and Windows Update. So all those are in settings. It's important to know. And then you have the accessibility. So that's pretty much it for today. I want to double check to see if anybody has any questions.
Larry, this is Clint. I still use the CCleaner once in a while to, to clear stuff out, but I oftentimes get a pop-up. They want me to buy one and buy the a fuller program, and I have a hard time just getting rid of it off my screen there.
I know most of these programs had paid versions, and most of them, like CCleaner, I don't use the paid version. I'm very happy with the other ones, and you must get around it because you're still using it. So yeah, you're going to get pop-ups. That's somewhat hard to control. Maybe next time I can talk a little bit about stopping some of those. I'll put that on my list for next time.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Larry.
Okay. Again, if you want a copy of this lesson plan, ladli5678@live.com. It's one of my 8 email addresses. I'll send you a PDF format of this document that you can use to go to all these different websites, do all these things, talk about what I'm going to be covering in the future, how to get to Microsoft support, everything like that.
At live.com.
What's that?
Oh, I was just writing down in the email. Sorry.
Okay. ladli5678@live.com. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen, go back to see all your wonderful faces. Now, I'm not getting as big a group as I would like. If you have people that aren't members of KCS that want to join this group, all you got to do is send them the email for this class and they can join. You don't have to be a KCS member. I like to get as many people as I can and present this information, and I will be glad to add anything that you send me an email for that you want to cover in the future. If not, you'll get what I give you.
Well, it's good to know. We can invite people that aren't members. That's good to know. I told everybody at the dentist office about it yesterday, and they were all thrilled.
Okay, well, like I say, you probably have to send them the email to get into it because it's specific. Okay. You send them the email and they can click onto it and get into it. You don't need anything special other than the email.
Thanks for all the great information, Larry.
Okay, thank you, Larry.
Okay. So. All right, Patsy Watsy, it was nice looking at your still face and not hearing you pick on me. Okay, I will be stopping this class. You're stopping.
Thank you, Larry.
Bye.
Bye-bye.